There are moments in automotive history where one person, driven by curiosity rather than industry pressure, ends up creating something far ahead of its time. And the 1936 Bergholt Streamline is exactly that kind of machine. This car wasn't born inside a massive corporation or shaped by committees. It came from the mind of Fred Bergholt, a man whose background already hinted at where this story was going. Long before this car existed, he spent the 1920s deeply involved in aeronautics, building gliders and aircraft together with his brother. That experience matters, because when you look at the Streamline today, you're not just seeing a car, you're seeing aviation thinking translated onto four wheels. The smooth curves, the flowing silhouette, the obsession with airflow, all of it reflects someone who understood that air is not just something you move through, but something you can work with. And in the mid-1930s, that mindset was still incredibly rare in the automotive world. The result of that thinking was a shape that looked radically different from anything on the road at the time. The Bergholt Streamline didn't follow the traditional formula of separate fenders and upright proportions. Instead, it presented a fully integrated body, where the wings were blended directly into the panels, creating a wide, smooth form that felt cohesive and deliberate. One of those fenders even concealed the spare wheel, a detail that shows just how carefully every element was considered. At the front, a sharply raked waterfall-style grille leaned backward into the body, reinforcing the sense of motion even when the car was standing still. The roofline swept cleanly toward the rear, forming a fastback profile that was not just visually striking, but aerodynamically purposeful. Even by rough visual estimation, the car appeared longer and lower than most sedans of the early 1930s, likely stretching close to 180 to 190 inches in overall length, with a relatively wide stance that enhanced both presence and stability. Inside the cabin, the Streamline reflected the same philosophy of cohesion and craftsmanship, even if exact documentation is limited. The interior was hand-built, which means materials and layout were likely tailored rather than standardized. Period-correct assumptions suggest a simple but elegant dashboard with analog gauges, including a central speedometer, oil pressure, and temperature readouts. Seating would have been arranged for comfort on longer journeys, likely upholstered in leather or high-quality fabric typical of the era. The streamlined roofline may have slightly reduced headroom compared to upright cars, but it also created a more enclosed, cocoon-like feel for passengers. Large side windows and a gently curved windshield would have improved forward visibility while maintaining the aerodynamic profile, making the driving experience feel more modern than most vehicles of its time. Beneath that elegant exterior, the car was built on a 1932 Ford sedan chassis, which gives us a much clearer picture of its mechanical foundation. Power came from a 65-horsepower V8 engine, specifically the Flathead design that Ford had recently introduced, and which quickly became one of the most influential engines of its era. This setup provided reliable torque and smooth operation, making it a practical choice for a custom-built vehicle like this. With rear-wheel drive and a relatively lightweight structure, estimated somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 pounds, the Streamline likely offered steady, confident performance rather than aggressive speed. Combined with a typical 3-speed manual transmission of the period, it would have delivered smooth, predictable power delivery, suited for both city driving and open road cruising. Performance in this case was less about acceleration and more about efficiency and stability, which is where the design truly paid off. Thanks to its aerodynamic shape, the car would have experienced reduced drag compared to conventional vehicles, allowing it to maintain speed with less effort from the engine. Estimates suggest it could reach somewhere around 70 to 80 miles per hour, which was entirely respectable for the time, especially considering the modest power output. The longer body and wide stance likely contributed to improved straight-line stability, while the suspension, probably based on solid axles and leaf springs, would have delivered a firm but durable ride suitable for the road conditions of the 1930s. This combination made the Streamline not just an experimental design, but a genuinely usable automobile. What makes this story even more fascinating is the timing, because Bergholt completed his Streamline just as the automotive world was beginning to explore similar ideas on a larger scale. In January 1933, Pierce Arrow unveiled the Silver Arrow at the New York Auto Show, a car that shocked audiences with its sleek fastback design and modern proportions. In many ways, Bergholt's creation stood right alongside it in terms of innovation, and arguably even matched its elegance in certain aspects. However, unlike Pierce Arrow, Bergholt did not have the backing of a major manufacturer, and that made all the difference. He attempted to sell his design to various automakers, but the response was consistent. The concept was simply too radical for mass production at the time. And then, almost immediately after, the world caught up without him. In 1934, Tatra introduced the T77, developed by Hans Ledwinka and Paul Jarret, widely recognized as the first production car shaped using wind tunnel research. Around the same time, Chrysler launched the Airflow, another bold attempt to bring aerodynamics into mainstream automotive design. These cars gained attention, sparked controversy, and ultimately secured their place in history. Meanwhile, Bergholt's Streamline, despite being just as forward-thinking, faded into the background. It became one of those innovations that arrived just a little too early, missing its moment, not because it lacked vision, but because it lacked timing and industrial support. Despite that, the car itself did not disappear. Bergholt continued to use it as his personal vehicle for many years, which says a lot about both its practicality and his belief in the design. It wasn't just a showpiece or an experiment. It was a functioning automobile that proved its concept in everyday use. After his death in 1978, ownership passed to his longtime friend Harlow Loney, and the car remained preserved rather than lost. Years later, a careful restoration was carried out and completed in 1993, bringing the vehicle back to its original form while respecting its unique history. Today, it remains in the hands of the Loney family, with stewardship passing down through generations, ensuring that this rare piece of automotive innovation continues to exist. The Bergholt Streamline ultimately stands as a powerful reminder that history doesn't always reward the first person to have an idea, but that doesn't make the idea any less important. It shows how innovation can emerge quietly, outside of major corporations, driven purely by curiosity and vision. When you look at modern cars with smooth, integrated bodies and aerodynamic efficiency, it becomes clear that Bergholt was not just experimenting, he was anticipating the future. And if you enjoy stories like this, where forgotten creators pushed boundaries long before the world was ready, make sure to subscribe to the On Wheels channel, because there are many more incredible machines and untold stories still waiting to be discovered.